Hey tribe, hey, I just want to put you all on game, try to give context to some of the things that you may be experiencing. So, see this sign right here? It's the manatee, and let's see if I can get a little closer. Okay, so I used to come down here for over a year, probably close to 2 years, and I would always look in the water for manatees, and I never saw manatees ever. And my thought process was, it's a sign that says the manatees, and then from the sign saying the manatees, if they're telling you to watch out for manatees, I'm thinking there must be manatees. No manatees. I've been walking in this area for, like I said, for a long time, for years, and it never crossed my mind to be like, okay, there's manatees somewhere else. This was like my focus point, was manatees right here. No manatees. So fast forward to just, I think, a couple months ago when I started posting manatees. And guess where I found the manatees? The manatees were close by, right where I was at, and I never thought to look for them. And once I saw them close by, it still took time for me to, even other places where I was, to be like, oh, wow, there are even more manatees here. Now, every time I turn around, I see not only manatees, because manatees come in pods, so they live in groups. So you may be seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 out the water. However, they are a group of them under the water that you don't see. So pods. So how do I put that back in spiritual terms? The manatees were always there. The manatees were always there, close to me. I looked externally at the sign as a sign versus myself, where it's like, let me explore myself. Let me see if there's manatees possibly here. Like, ask myself some additional questions. If there are manatees here, can there possibly be manatees here, which is the same water, you know? And so it's like that sign, the physical sign, was where I stopped at. And I didn't look past the physical sign, because it's like the physical sign had more information than I did. It's like I automatically assigned that physical sign as having more information, and it actually, I didn't think past that. So yeah, on one side it's embarrassing, it's this and that and stuff like that. On the other side, for me, what I'm seeing is that to be available to myself, to still learn and understand things and get things, even though someone else or something else may have gotten it before that, or even when you finally do speak up, it may be stupid or crazy. It's like, you know what? I found out the information just at the right time for myself. I have so many manatee videos now, and not only that, the other thing that came from it is I'm able to read the water so that I can tell where they are, even when they're not breaking the surface. So it's like, once I was available to see the manatees for myself and see where they are, I started to learn how I can spot them myself, how I can see them myself. And that goes along with the hashtag know thyself kind of thing. It's like you could look at your everyday life and see like where you are and how you can get closer to yourself, knowing yourself. It's like, hey, what am I looking at? What am I thinking about? Why didn't I think about this? Why am I not asking myself the second, third, fourth, fifth, 20th question? Why am I not exploring? Why am I just taking this thing for face value and basically saying, like, that's enough. That's enough. I'm just going to stand right here and look for manatees because the sign says there's manatees. And then you don't see any manatees. I haven't seen any manatees over here at all. And so the other thing that makes sense is that what you've seen in this video is there are so many boats, so much traffic and stuff. So that makes sense that the manatees are like, hey, we got others who have gotten eaten up and clipped up by these boats, and we're not going to frequent this area anymore. So from there, it's like, okay, so the manatees are learning. This used to be an area they can be in. Now it's not. Let me move over to an area that's not frequented so much by things that can be harmful to them. And it like all just makes sense. It all lines up. So it's like once you can grasp a hold of like anything that's in your energy, put your arms out to the side, shoulder length, hold them up and turn yourself in a circle. And then you could be like, okay, this is what I'm going to call my energy, where I operate in for my energy. And in that energy space, I'm going to become familiar with the things that I need to become familiar with so that I can start understanding what does it mean to know myself. What I've seen is a lot of energy goes towards knowing yourself means that you're selfish. And it's like, if you understand that you have to be selfish. Selfish isn't a negative thing. It's like, it's been like, okay, knowing yourself is selfish. It's only selfish to a person who basically is using some resource that you have and they don't want that to stop. Because a person who knows themselves and even is available to understand love is like, hey, the best thing for a person to do is to know themselves, to understand love, and then they're available to what is really something that they can be unselfish about and share or help with or participate in or go along the journey on for whatever amount of time. It's like when you are not aware of yourself, then you're just, again, going by what that sign says. So you're looking at the manatee sign, using myself as an example, looking at the manatee sign is going along with someone else. It's having trust and faith and belief and not even understanding, because it's like, wait, that sign is saying something that no longer exists from my own research, my own experience. I used to walk down here like every single day, and it's like, wow, wait, every single day I never saw a manatee? But there's a sign that says, watch out for manatees. And I'm looking for manatees in a place where there's no manatees, and the sign is still manatees. So it's like, how am I involved in the people who put the sign up? And the people who put the sign up is no longer valid. So at that point that it's no longer valid, then it's like, well, how long would I have been standing there looking for the manatees? So if that helps someone, just wanted to share with you in a real life application of everything's internal. The same water that the manatees are in is the same body of water that I'm close to. So it's like me exploring the water that was close to me versus having in my mind that the manatees were right here where that sign was, as you see right there. So it's like, okay, take that lesson and turn it into how you start your journey of knowing yourself. It's like, look at everything like that manatee sign. Like, okay, I see this sign that says manatees. I've had my own experience to where I see that there's just no manatees, none. So I'm going to take my experience and I'm going to say, hey, look how far this water goes. I'm going to start looking in this water for manatees. It's the same water. And then now, like I'm saying, I know when the manatees come out. I know what time of day they come out. I know the water patterns when they're out, but they're not breaking the surface. So I know when to film or not film. I just know when they're going to be there. So now I can create my own map, my own chart. Like I used to do the destiny chart. And the destiny chart is where you put your birthday in. You don't have to know the time and stuff like that because it's based off of cards, your card. So each card represents a birthday and a date of that month, and then that's your card. And so basically you become that for yourself. You can say, hey, during this time period, manatees are out, and how do I feel during these months when the manatees are out? And you write that stuff down. And then for next year, you have your own calendar that's saying, hey, during this season, this was a good season for me. I get my best ideas. I see where the doors are open for me. And with those doors being open, I see where I'm having the most success. And then you keep following and following until you get to the point where it's like, okay, the manatee season now leads to what? The dolphin season. And I notice when the dolphins come, this is the energy that's going on in my own life. So yes, I'm still walking in the same areas. I'm still doing that. However, I'm enjoying it in a different way. It's like, oh yeah. So now I'm available to see other things that may be in the water, or other things that may not even be in the water. It's like now that I'm not looking in the water anymore for manatees, because I understand the manatees aren't there. Now I'm looking around my environment and enjoying my environment. And then I may see and notice something else that even connects with the manatees. Like I'll be able to see like a manatee that's on a building. And that's a building that, wait, I just looked this up. And what's in this building is something that I was curious about. So you see where the manatee was like being interested in the manatee, you're taking that further. Like it can expand, and it's like your spirit is using that as a guide, as a map for you. And then you wind up going in that building, and I call it energy signature. It's happened so many times where some place that I've gone by or different things like that have wound up being a place where we live, or something's going on with it that is impactful for myself or my husband or whatever, different things like that. It's just as you start tracking yourself, and then you just do that for the whole year, and it's like a way to help you just understand not what you've been socialized to, like, oh, I'm selfish if I just think about myself first. I'm, doing these wrong things, society-wise, in my family, with my friends, with my this and that, if I even think to take care of myself first or do something for myself first. And it's like when you're not even available to yourself to be like, hey, I'm gonna just pause and I'm gonna look further into the manatee. I'm gonna look further into what these kind of things mean, for me when I'm out doing my meditation walk. When I'm out doing my meditation walk, like what does it mean to me? What does it mean for me? What else can I see about myself? And for me, it's like I'll be able to operate solely as myself and not have to write things down, or not have to keep repeating myself, or not have to be so hard on myself when I'm not able to get the message. Like I said, how long did it take for all of that time when I was seeing the sign and good morning, I was seeing the sign and not the manatees, but I kept staying there because of the sign. And it's like that wasn't a sign. The sign wasn't a sign. So all right, that's kind of like going in a circle for it. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm gonna put out another video. I've been listening to Rod Hayes and the young elder, so I'm gonna put out Decode Rod Hayes and the Young Elder. I've really been enjoying both of those gentlemen, the way that their minds just access the information that they've studied, the way how they think, how they connect, different things like that. That's the part that I've been enjoying. So I had already been working on stimulating my brain to activate it towards numbers, maths, puzzles, patterns, to reactivate it. Because before, you're not using those things. I'm not thinking about those things and whatever. And the more that I'm getting to know myself, I'm re-remembering the things that I was interested in. However, I was always told, or shown, or I wasn't good in school, or different things like that. And it's like, I'm not good in school. I'm not good in school the way that it's taught. However, no one owns math. There's this guy on IG, and you guys can reach out to me, and I'll give you all the links to all the things that I'm talking about. So you can start there if you're interested in it, because I feel like when something interests you, that I'm saying, it's not for you to follow me that way. It's just, hey, it's your spirit saying, hey, let's take up our own journey. And there's nothing wrong with taking up the journey with, like, I used to do Gatorade. I don't do Gatorade anymore. So it's nothing wrong with, I'm going to start out with Gatorade. Now I just have a half a bottle of orange juice with me if I need it. And that was from when my husband and I would walk, and we would start we got to the point where we walked like 10 miles every day. And I've never done 10 miles every day, never even had a thought of doing 10 miles every day. So I would carry my own little orange juice because I would start tapping out. However, it was nothing wrong with starting out with orange juice, and then you start developing and finding the ways that work for you while you're on your journey. So from that intention, that's where I'm sharing the links from. And also, I'm not Rod Hayes or the young elder. Like, to me, as far as I know, I do understand some of the things that they have. However, I'm not seeing where I fit into that. I'm enjoying another group of people who are getting to know themselves, and they're sharing with everyone so that those people who need to be with them or who have been having their own experiences in the realm of the young elder and Rod Hayes, they can now have other resources. It's like the whole thing about finding your tribe. It's like that's their tribe. And it's so funny because when I'm listening, I'm enjoying, because I'm like focused on yes, I enjoy what they're talking about, and I love it for them. I love it for those people who that's what they're supposed to be doing, and enjoying seeing how they are so intentional about getting this information out, and then especially to see the young people coming in who basically already are having experiences that Rod and the young elder, Chief Pontiac and the young elder are talking about, and now they have some place to sit themselves at and learn, and then learn up into the point where their own self is activated, and then they basically can teach themselves. They don't have to think about what someone else is saying. They go off on their own, and they can teach, and they can learn, and they can grow their own tribes. And so that's really interesting to me, because I feel like it ties into Chief Pontiac, who is Rod Hayes, also goes by that. He always closes everything out by telling people, because it's like all that excitement about all the information. He's like, hey, I don't know you. I don't know you. I don't know what you're supposed to be doing. I don't even know. However, you know what your dreams mean. You know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what you're supposed to get out of a certain situation. And that's what you can do for yourself, is that you can start accessing that information. It's something about, I'm not sure what to call it, because I always think if a child was, say, got lost, was in a plane crash, survived, his parents didn't survive, nothing survived, and some of the animals or other beings or whatever took that baby, raised that baby started raising itself, that child is still going to get what it's supposed to get. It's still going to know and understand itself. It's still going to be able to access information without having to have someone tell them. Like, now that's just the way that the world that we're in, now. However, I know that if you are in different situations, you're still going to be able to access yourself, because really the external things that are going on to remind you to remember who you are is not coming from that person. Like, that person doesn't hold the key to what's going on in your life. What's actually happening is that you're able to remember something. It triggers a memory. And so once your memory is triggered for you to remember, then you can go off on your own journey. It's not about, oh, well, this person showed me this person showed me that, and I gotta be loyal to them. It's like, no, that's not what it's ever been meant. And then it's never that a person that you're learning from can tell you when to come, when to go, when to stay, when to do all those things like that. It's like, because there's seasons to you sitting with a person or getting information from a person, or you just being able to be like, hey, I gotta absorb all of this and let it marinate. Or some people were just planting a seed and you have to get your soil up enough to cover that seed so it can take root. Or you got to look and see if that seed should even take root. Was it just meant to, like, you know, when you play bumper cars and you're on your own path and then you bump into someone or whatever, then your car shoots off in another direction, that kind of thing. Was that just to do the bumper car thing with you so you go in a different direction? So it's like Chief Pontiac, he always says that, like, find your own way. And then he says, I have receipts, because there's people out there who, just like he did, he studied for decades, over a decade, 16 years or something like that. He studied for a long time, and he just read and read. And who he was able to retain that information. So it's like he was able to retain that information. And now he's able to not only retain it, he's able to give that information back. He's able to cite that information, you know, that kind of thing. So it's like, if you're able to do that, you know, that could be a reminder for yourself. Just like I was saying for me, it's like, hey, I was in special ed school classes and stuff. However, I was a software engineer. So, and went through a professional training course to be able to do that. However, I was never able to pass the entrance exam to be able to be a software engineer. Well, we were calling that computer programmer back in my day. And I have in my little memory book from high school that I wanted to be work at IBM. So it's like, fine, where am I at today? Well, today I've been, even before I even started listening to Rod Hayes and the Young Elder, it's like I started just for myself. It's like, hey, there's this guy on IG who does math a different way. And I started saving that, and I'm like, oh, I want to teach myself math again. And then different things like that. And then you have Terrence Howard, who started talking about these different things and all the patents that he has. When I'm hearing people like that, I'm just saying, hey, it's more out there. What do I have access to? What do I remember about myself that's my gift that I can do, that I can take to a different level and see what it's supposed to be? It's like it activates me. I could be activated just by myself. I could be activated by being around other people. I can be activated by being in my tribe. And even when you get to your tribe, it's not that you stay with that tribe. If that's your tribe, yes, stay. However, if you feel like you need to move from tribe to tribe to tribe, it's like move from tribe to tribe to tribe. Whoever is sitting in that position of supposed leadership of the tribe knows you'll be moving in and out. So it's like, it's so important that you know yourself. Take time. Even if you just say, I'm going to take a year off and I'm just going to know myself, and I'm just going to write down things for myself so that I can understand and see what I even think, what I even want, what do I even believe, what I even can do for myself to change the direction that I'm going in. Like, what can I do? How can I do that? And it's just no way to know that unless you take time for yourself to see, to understand, what you're supposed to be doing, where you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to live, how things are supposed to work for you, what job you're supposed to be at. Are you supposed to be at a job at all? What relationships are you supposed to repair so that you being together with another person actually is part of your purpose and your path. And just because you had some other things going on, you didn't see that like at the time. And so when you're looking at it from that way, it's like you're just learning about yourself. That's all you're doing. And so sometimes, like, think about those of you who are in college or anything. Some people can study in the library. Some people inside the library, they would have those little rooms that you can close the door and cancel out the noise. And then some people, like me, I went to school at home, went to college at home, and I had to have the TV on. At a certain time I would turn my shows on, and I had to have my information there in by 11:59. So I would come home from work, sleep for a few hours, and then I would get up, around 6 or 7, and then I would turn on the TV, and then I would do my work. Graduated with my bachelor's in 2 years with like 3.5, somewhere in there, average. Those things don't matter anymore. I'm just saying that, it's just different ways that you can see yourself and how you need to do things and how you need to study and how you need to gather your information. And the one thing that I've seen is that knowing yourself and finding out who you are and what you need to really do and say and be for yourself, that's the first space to be at, because it's like no one's gonna know what that information is for you. Anyone can guess. That's what the APA is about, the DSM-5 and all that. It's about someone guessing or saying through their own experiences that these experiences that another person has means this or that. And it can't be further from the truth, because you're like, I'm not even thinking that way. I'm not even feeling that way. That's not even how it is. It may seem that that's what's going on. You don't have the whole picture. And someone has basically just come in and said, I don't need the whole picture. I'm telling you who you are, and what this means. The only thing that it means is you're not my tribe. And so I need to make moves to not be in your energy anymore, to be off of your time schedule. And being off of your time schedule, it may be leaving your house like 5 minutes later, so that you don't have to even think about that you're going to bump into this person in the elevator when you go to work or anything like that. So it's just like you won't know that until you do that for yourself. And even a long time ago, when I didn't even know what this stuff meant, I was married, and I was like, why am I always at odds with my then husband? I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. And then it's like my spirit spoke to me, which is just really myself, which is really remembering. So when I'm saying spirit and stuff like that, it's just me remembering myself. And so I'm just remembering myself. Sun's coming up. I'm just remembering myself. And from there, it's like, oh, okay. And so I just changed my time a little bit. And from changing my time a little bit, I was able to get along better with him. And even though we did wind up divorcing, that was the best thing to do for both of us, because as each of us grew and didn't need to do the trauma bonding thing with each other, we just weren't each other's cup of tea anymore, which is nothing wrong with that, because it's like, hey, I've moved past whatever trauma I was in when I brought you into my life. And now, with no malice or hate or whatever, I just need to move on. And then you move on, as you grow. It's called imago therapy. And I definitely don't think that you have to not be with the person that you've done your imago therapy with. My sister and I came up with the hashtag lean in, which is the space after imago therapy. It's still just your choice. Just like it was your choice to bring that person into your life, it's your choice to decide for that person to not be in your life. It's the ownership of it. If you're going to be with somebody and all you're doing is bitching and moaning, complaining, you're just so caught up in being the victim. It's like you got to ask yourself, what value is that having when all you're doing by being around another person is just being, a constant victim. And I mean, if that's what you want to be and that's what you need, to blame another person for your life instead of looking and saying, hey, there's a reason why I decided to have this person in my life. What was it? And what do I need now? And it's like when you need something else now, like just go get what it is. So I'm still walking towards the water, and it's just like, okay, so this is the same water where the sign was for the manatees that aren't there. So it's nothing stopping me from getting to this water or seeing this water as, someplace I can find the manatees, whether they're there or not. It's still no one's stopping me. So that's the thing. It's like no one's stopping you from researching yourself. No one's stopping you from looking at yourself. And just because you're starting to get to know yourself and you're leaning more towards keeping yourself to yourself, that can be just like not speaking up. If someone says, hey, I need a pencil, and you're always the one giving out the pencil. Now, as you're understanding yourself and you're understanding that, hey, I'm not helping by every day giving this person a pencil. This person needs to decide whether or not this class is for them. Because if the class is for you, you would bring what you need to the class and you wouldn't have to keep asking for it. And then you can see what's really happening in your own mind, where it's really your ego, your id. Ego and id are two different things. However, when I just say id, it's like sometimes people don't have access to that yet. So I'll just tap on ego because everybody's used to having ego. You still need ego. You need a healthy ego. The id is where it's just doing whatever it wants to. And you're just getting value out of helping someone. And from what I've seen, the value that people are getting when they're helping people is so they're not helping themselves. They don't have to focus on their own stuff. It's not a true need. It's not anything because your cup isn't even full. Not only do you not have a full cup, you just don't have anything to give because you're still trying to figure your own stuff out. However, it's something about when someone needs you or you can help them or whatever, you can get lost in it. Like some people get lost in their jobs and they're terrible partners at home and parents at home. However, at their job, they're the best. It's like you're putting all your energy into something that makes you feel good because at home, it's going to take work. See what's coming up. At home, it's just going to take work. And you just, for whatever reason, you don't want to do that work. You don't feel like doing that work, or you just need to make a decision and just be like, hey, I don't have to worry about that. This isn't my person. This isn't where I'm supposed to be. And I just really need to make a tough decision. My decision is just, hey, this isn't for me. This isn't what I'm going to be doing. And I need to go in a healthy, loving way. How do we separate out of this union? And because we have children or whatever, I'll just live across the street, or whatever, so we can still be able to both take care of the children and stuff like that, both be able to do the things that we need to be able to do, That's all that you have to That's all that we have to do. And then you just go from there, understanding that people who are dependent on you are people who that you join with from a certain energy, and now that your energy's changing, now that you're changing, now that you're just seeing yourself, they don't have to go along with you. It works both ways. It's like you not being mad about it, bothered about it. Yeah, you're going to be hurt because there's human feelings. That's a part of the work too, to keep things in perspective. I need to go to New York. I'm in Florida. No matter how much I don't want to get on 95 North, I'm never going to get to New York unless I'm getting on 95 North. 95 South or A1A or US 1 is going to take me down to Key West. And if I want to be delusional, I can be like, yes, this is New York. I'm going to call Key West, New York. However, things are going to happen that are going to show you that the New York that you're talking about isn't Key West, no matter that you're calling it New York. Same with our lives. It's like as we journey on our lives, it's the same thing. You're just not going to be able to get the things that you're saying that you want and need from your life. You're not going to be able to get those things just because you're saying you don't like the fact that 95 North is the only way that you can get to New York. And you know your spirit's telling you, I gotta get to New York, gotta get to New York. And you're like resisting, not believing, not trusting yourself to get on 95 North because you had some kind of bad experience or unpleasant experience, or you've heard something about 95 North. You're going to have to get yourself to the place where you know yourself enough that just like the GPS would come on and say X amount of yards up at mile marker such and such, there's a object in the road, be careful. So that person who passed the information on to say don't get on 95 because it's dangerous or it's this or that, they may not have had the GPS and they actually ran over it and it tore up their car or they were injured. Now it's like, hey, I don't have to do that because I have GPS. And so gaining the GPS is basically I worked on myself and I have GPS now, and my GPS is able to tell me when I'm on 95 North to use my GPS so that I'll be able to be okay with if there's any debris in the road. And instead of being delusional about I'm gonna stay on 95 South and still get to New York, and even if I don't get there, I'm gonna say 95 South led me to New York, although New York is Key West. It's like you gotta take that step back and you gotta be like, hey, what do I need to know about myself? Because I understand that I have to take 95 North to get to New York. I may not have to stay on it the whole time because there's always back roads and stuff like that. It's just to a certain point, I still have to go north. I may not have to be on 95 North, but I have to follow the direction of 95 North because north is where New York is. Even if you're saying the states are upside down, it's fine. We're not quibbling about that. We just want to know that is the New York that you're talking about getting to, is that New York, or is that New York, Key West? And once you and say, hey, that New York is the New York that has been mapped out 95 north, then I need to figure out a way what works best for me. Like me, I don't like going on the freeways. I do if I have to, I'll go. In my everyday, say my everyday commute or whatever, what I'll do is I'll set for no highways and no tolls. When I'm going out of town or something like that, and I'm not in a rush or have to be somewhere on a time, I will do the same thing so I can go around and not be on the freeway. So it just depends. I use my own wisdom, and then I understand in my wisdom and things happening, I may have to use the freeway, and then I just make sure that I'm present and available to it so that I can make the best decisions when I'm driving on the freeway and do my best not to be worried about accident or whatever. So, but okay. Wow. I didn't realize I was going to talk. I had wanted to, but I didn't realize I was going to. All right. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. Like I said, those of you all who are interested and you want to be able to get to the young elder has most of Chief Pontiac's YouTubes. I'm more so like, from what I've been listening, I trust the young elder to get out Chief Pontiac's message. I've seen others that split it up, splice it up. They put their own titles on it. And right now, while you're trying to get information for yourself, then I would highly recommend the young elder to get the first source of the video from, because usually people are taking his video that he does and cut it up, turn it into something else. And then if you want the directly from the horse's mouth, then Chief Pontiac goes by Sik-Ape, S-I-K-A-S-I-K, capital A-P-E. The young elder pronounces it psych, like they used to say psych. I don't know how to spell that, but Sik-Ape or whatever. So just reach out on Instagram. I'm in the capital N, SIDEFIRST. You can DM me and just ask for the link, or you can reach out to me in the comments and ask for the link, and I'll be more than happy to share it. All right. Wholeness.